Good afternoon and welcome back to the Seminole County Board of County Commission meeting September 9th, 2025. It's approximately 1:30 and we're going to get started with the afternoon session. Commissioner Herr unfortunately will not be able to make it this afternoon, so we will proceed with a quorum and we will begin with the accepting proofs of publication for this afternoon's meeting.
So moved.
Motion to approve, second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. Seeing none, carries unanimous. I will ask the County Attorney, Ms. Kate Latour, to read into the record the rules of public participation.
While the board welcomes comments from all persons with an interest in these proceedings, Florida law requires that the board's decision in quasi-judicial actions be supported by competent, substantial evidence presented to the board during the hearings on the applications. Competent, substantial evidence is such evidence as a reasonable mind would accept as adequate to support a conclusion. There must be a factual basis in the record to support opinion testimony from both expert and non-expert witnesses. Persons presenting testimony may rely on factual information that they present, information presented by county staff, information the applicant presented, or on factual information included in the county staff report to support their testimony. All persons who present written materials to the board for consideration must ensure that a copy of such materials is provided to the clerk for inclusion in the board's record of the proceedings and official minutes. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Ms. Latour. I'm going to remind everyone, if you would make sure that your phones are silenced. Any other electronic devices you may have, please put those in airplane mode or quiet mode out of respect for the proceedings this afternoon. Commissioners, please disclose any and all ex parte and the method in which it was submitted, please.
Mr. Chairman, I have no ex parte communication for the record, and I'll submit it.
Mr. Chairman, I have spoken to both sides of the number 20 in the Board of Adjustment Appeal. I've also spoken to where I've received a couple of phone calls and an email concerning the Village on the Green.
Okay.
And I've given them to the clerk.
Okay. Commissioner Lockhart.
I received emails on Village on the Green, and I received phone calls for item number 20, but was not able to connect with them. But they did reach out to my office.
Okay. I also received emails, and all of my ex parte has been submitted electronically to the clerk's office.
And Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, I did receive emails, but I've not spoken to anyone.
Okay, fair enough, sir. All right, this is going to be our quasi-judicial portion of the hearing. We will start today. Our staff will give a presentation to the board of the item that's up for consideration. We will then ask the applicant if they desire to make any statements. Then we will then ask for any public input. Once we get our public input, then we will go to the board for board direction. Our first item is number 20, Board of Adjustment Appeal of the Board of Adjustment decision to deny the request for an east side yard setback variance from 10 feet to 2 feet for detached accessory structure in the R1AA Single Family Dwelling District for property more particularly known as 1735 Carlton Street. This is District 3, Commissioner Constantine's, and we have Angie Gates who's going to give us a presentation. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Angie Gates with Planning and Development. Item 20 is an appeal of the Board of Adjustment decision to deny the request for an east side yard setback variance from 10 feet to 2 feet for a detached accessory structure in the R1AA Single Family Dwelling District located at 1735 Carlton Street in Longwood. Nope. Open. There we go.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll get it. Technology is great.
A building code violation 25-76 was issued for the construction without the required permits, resulting in the necessity of a variance. On June 23rd, the Board of Adjustment denied the east side yard setback variance for the existing 780 square foot detached accessory structure. And on July 9th, the appellants, James and Marie Risen, filed a notice of appeal for the Board of Adjustment decision. Staff findings determined that one or more of the 6 variance criteria were not met. And the Board of Adjustment found that granting of the requested variance would be violative to one or more of the variance criteria found in the Seminole County Land Development Code, presenting the disproportionately injurious impact on adjoining neighbor due to proximity of the detached accessory structure to the neighbor's property line, and would therefore not be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of Chapter 30 of the Land Development Code to maintain consistent setbacks. Staff requests the Board of County Commissioners uphold the decision of the Board of Adjustment to deny the request for an east side yard setback variance from 10 feet to 2 feet for a detached accessory structure at 1735 Carlton Street. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions the board may have.
Thank you very much. Any questions for staff at this point? Seeing none, thank you very much.
You're
Stay
welcome.
tuned. The applicant, James and Marie Risen, are they here and wish to make any presentation or statements to the board at this time? If you are, please, sir, come up to the microphone. Give us your name and address for the record. Quick reminder, as this gentleman's coming up, if anybody is here to speak on this item or any other items, please fill out a speaker's form in the lobby, colored in yellow, and bring it up to the clerk here, Ms. Dominique. We'd appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, sir, your name and address.
James Reason, 1735 Carlton Street, Longwood.
Yes, sir, welcome, and please proceed.
Thank you. Well, I had a good talk with Commissioner Constantine yesterday on the phone. I know my chances aren't good. I know I've apologized about putting this up as sincerely as I can. My only point is if we could look at it from a realistic standpoint, she thinks it's an invasion on her property or her property rights, and she thinks it's affecting her property value. But moving it over 8 feet is not going to change the look whatsoever from her perspective. And that's the only thing I'm trying to get across. I think I probably would have gotten a variance if I had done it outright, but it just seems that the after the fact is what's the big issue here. But, you know, she thinks it's affecting her property 100%. If we move it over 8 feet, what percent is it then? It's probably going to be 98 or 95 or nothing. It's going to look exactly the same from her perspective. It's about 70 feet from her back porch, and at 78 feet, it's going to look no difference. And that's really all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Risen.
All right.
All righty, is there anyone here from the public that wishes to speak on this matter?
Yes, sir. There are 2 speakers,
Okay, if you'd call their names, and we'll have them come up.
Robert Taylor and Andrea Dinkins, both in opposition.
Taylor and Dinkins. If you folks would come up, please. Good afternoon. Just give us your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Philip Taylor, 344 Nebraska Avenue, Longwood, Florida.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
I'm speaking in opposition and in concurrence with the finding of the zoning board that denied this application. The applicant admits that what he did is illegal. He admits that he did it without the correct permits. The Dinkins, who live next door, went out and took this house that they're living in and completely rehabbed it. And they put in a very nice 6-foot-high cedar fence that would give their neighbor privacy and give them some privacy. And in reward for their generosity and their work, he comes along and builds a illegal structure on the property line. And based upon the picture there, you could place a mobile home in there, and anybody that ever lived next door or has owned a mobile home, motor home, knows that there's always a tendency to go outside and run the generator and let the generator run and recharge and keep it lubricated, run the motor, run the air conditioning, and make unnecessary noise. So I think that there's no doubt that he's in an illegal structure, and his application should be denied.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Dinkins? Good afternoon, ma'am, and welcome. If you'll give us your name and address, please feel free to pull the microphone down if you need to.
Okay. My name is Andrea Dinkins. My husband and I live at 1701 Carlton Street. We are the neighbor directly next door to Randy and his wife. The illegal shed is, in fact, 2 feet away from our property line. It's put up without a permit, and it encroaches into the required 10-foot side setback that we're entitled to know that there's nobody going to build anything in that section 10 feet. We've met with Randy and Marie this morning. Their contention is it's not going to look any different. In my opinion, it's a big, unattractive, 30-foot long, 12-foot tall, ugly metal building. Yes, they're allowed to be constructed in this R1AA zoning if they are in compliance with all of the current land development rules and regulations. And we're all allowed to depend that those rules and regulations are enforced. And that's what we're asking that they do. They don't want to move it. We would like it moved. It's not that difficult to move. It doesn't have to be torn down completely. In my opinion, as a previous construction manager, it can be moved over without that much difficulty. When we first complained to Randy and Marie about this, the day after they put the thing up, I told him then, why don't you call your crew back and have them just undo a few bolts and move the thing over where it belongs, and then go get a permit, and it's done. Here we are, 5 or 6, 7 months, however months later, a lot of money spent. It still needs to be moved. It's still unattractive. It's still against the rules. It's still an illegal shed that will, in fact, impact our property values when we try to sell this. Phil, who just spoke, is a retired real estate broker that we've known for years, bought property from in the past. When he looked at it, he says that's going to be a problem when you try to sell it. Linda Copeland, who is a real estate representative, who sold us our house, sold Randy or was involved in the sale of his house, when she saw it, she said, that's going to be a huge problem when you go to sell your house. It's clearly in violation. You can look at it from the front and say, gee, that's awfully close to that fence. It needs to be moved so it is in compliance. Get a permit, move it over, be done with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any other public comments on this matter?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Eisen, do you have anything further to say in rebuttal to the claims that have been made?
Yes, please.
If you would, sir. You'll be given a brief rebuttal.
I just want to say the part about parking a mobile home there. I actually have the right to park an RV as close to that property line as I want. And it can be as tall as 12 feet tall, which is how tall the building is now. Most RVs are around 12 feet tall. If I move it over, that's probably what I'm going to do. And then she's going to look at an RV. I don't see what the difference is. All I'm asking is I want to put a cover over it. For the adjustment hearing, I had 7 neighbors here, all that either shared a property line with me or were directly across the street from me. None of them have a problem with it. The neighbor on the other side of her that also shares my backyard, the building goes over onto his side about 10 feet. The day I built it, he came over and said, wow, that's amazing. He loved it. She's the only one. The only thing she's upset about is the permitting issue. I'm trying to make it legal, and it's not going to be any different. It's like I said, if this is impacting her, if she thinks this is impacting her, the value of her property at 100% level, what is moving it over 8 feet going to do? It's not going to change her property value. That's really, you know, and I didn't try to slam it on them. Before I built it, I went over and talked with them about it and told them what I wanted to do. I was specific about the measurements. I told them it was going to be 30 feet wide. I said I'd be happy to buy any kind of plant material you would like to put along your fence to have it grow up, to block it. They said, okay, we'll take you up on that. So I built it basically under false pretense. I know I still shouldn't have done it. I should have got a permit. But they said it was going to be okay for me to build it if I was willing to put those plants there. I did that. I spent $2,200 doing that. And then 6 months later, they still complained about it. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll close public comment, and we will go to board action. Any other questions or inquiries by the board? Commissioner Lockhart.
I have a couple of questions for staff.
Staff, if you would, please.
And it's generally code-type questions that may, well, here's the question. If this structure, lack of permitting aside, right, let's put that aside. If this structure did not have a wall on the property line side, if it was a cantilevered awning extending out, would that awning without supports have to abide by the 10-foot setback?
If it were 18 inches.
I'm sorry?
If it were 18 inches,
If what was 18 inches?
the overhang, the awning. If there were no wall, but the awning has to be supported by something, it's usually measured by the vertical supported structure. If the overhang were over 18 inches, that's where the setback would then be measured from. That code changed in April of 2024.
Can I ask for clarification on that, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
So you're saying the overhang over the supports can be a maximum of 18 inches or a minimum of 18 inches?
18. It can be a max of 18.
So if there's structural columns and the roof overhangs those structural columns by 18 inches, it would be legal?
If it met the setback.
Oh, it's got to meet the setback.
It's got to meet the
First.
setback.
Still got to meet the setback.
Yes.
So I wanna
If it
make
were just a
sure-
standard roof
Let me,
overhang,
if I could, Commissioner, follow up, because I'm not sure I've got clarity yet
Okay.
myself. So we're looking at this structure, and for lack of other things, I would call it a large carport type structure.
yes.
2 walls. Are you saying the 18-inch overhang is from the face of either wall going out?
They don't have an overhang that big.
Right, I'm
Is your question
looking.
hypothetical? Because they're overhang, is it okay if I go to the picture?
Absolutely,
of
please
the-
do.
So forget about the structure for just a minute.
Okay.
Don't even think about the structure.
Okay.
Pretend we didn't even see this picture.
We didn't see it,
Just for
okay.
a minute. Okay. So if someone wanted to build a cantilevered awning, a canopy, what would the setback be based on? The edge of the cantilevered structure or the support beam supporting it?
If the cantilevered portion of the structure is over 18 inches, or is 18 inches or greater, then that would start the setback.
I think I don't understand then.
I think I do.
If someone wanted to build a 10-foot canopy out, you're saying the setback is from the edge of the canopy, not from the support structure?
It is from the support structure, but cantilevered is not supported. Overhangs aren't supported where the overhang is. Usually overhangs are anywhere from 12 over, and our code states that anything over 18 inches that's where the setback starts. If it doesn't have an overhang, it's from the vertical plane or wall.
Can you show us in that photo there what you think you're telling us? Please, Mr. Chairman?
And Mr. Gomez is here maybe to help clarify a couple things. Don't we have a hard copy of the photograph you can lay on the overhead?
I have one right here.
There you go.
Okay.
A large
I got
photo.
this one from staff. I didn't take it
So
myself.
the clarification is that the overhang, you can have an up to 18-inch overhang over the setback.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense.
That's the clarification.
Okay.
So you can project
So the
18
support
inches.
beam could be at the 10 feet setback, and then you're allowed only 18 inches
Correct.
over that. Okay.
Okay.
over that setback.
So
So the columns have to be
you could.
outside the setback?
Correct.
You could structurally engineer it with the columns back further. That's, yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so it is 18 inches over the 10 feet, regardless of where your post is, as long as it's within the 10 feet. Okay, that was my baseline question for moving forward.
Yeah, I was all, you said 18 inches, I'm talking about overhang.
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
walls.
okay, I got it now. Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. This is Commissioner Constantine's district. Commissioner?
Well, thank you very much. And I met with both Mr. Risen and Ms. Dinkins by phone yesterday. I also drove by on more than one occasion. The question before us today is not whether or not bushes were put in or any of the other things, which, by the way, are not as high as the fence. The question is whether or not this falls within the rules. I gave Mr. Risen every opportunity to tell me why this is why this should be approved and why the rights of his neighbor should not be considered. And quite frankly, with all due respect, and he seemed like a very nice man, I didn't get anything that I felt was legitimate. I will move that we support the staff recommendation and uphold the Board of Adjustment's denial of the appeal.
A motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? I do believe that Board of Appeal did get this right. And of course, the Board of Appeal serves a purpose to give our public yet another chance at a hearing before it ever comes before us. But I think the Board of Appeal definitely got this right, so I will support this. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? Carries unanimously. Thank you all very much, and my hopes are that the neighbors can continue to try to get along and work with each other to the best of their ability to be good neighbors.
Well, they did talk to this morning, which was the first time in a long time, and I asked them last night to do that. So.
Good stuff. All right, next item up is item 21, Village on the Green Small-Scale Future Land Use Map Amendment and PD Major Amendment Rezone. Ms. Annie Silloway will be presenting this as our principal planner on behalf of the staff. Ms. Silloway?
Good afternoon. Annie Silloway with Development Services. The applicant is requesting a small-scale future land use map amendment from high-density residential and plan development to plan development, and a rezone from R3 multiple family dwelling and PD plan development to PD plan development. The subject site was approved as part of the Sable Point PD in 1979 with entitlements for single-family residential, multifamily, a golf course, office, and commercial uses on 3,050 acres. In 2018, the Board of County Commissioners approved a PD Major Amendment rezone on 75.76 acres of the Sable Point PD, now known as the Village on the Green PD, with entitlements for a continuum of care facility of 144 beds, providing skilled nursing care for assisted living and memory care, along with 514 independent living units for residents 55 years and older, with a maximum density of 10.78 dwelling units per net buildable acre, and a maximum 138,100 square feet for the healthcare facility, and 35,076 square foot clubhouse. The applicant is proposing to incorporate an additional 6.83 acres designated as Pod E on the master development plan from the remaining Sable Point PD into the Village on the Green PD for the addition of 40 independent living dwelling units consisting both of duplexes and single-family units. The applicant proposes to add a 5,500 square foot amenity building and 2 sport courts within the southern portion of Pod B2. The overall development will maintain a maximum density of 7.09 dwelling units per net buildable acre and a maximum floor area ratio of 0.60. The site appears to be approximately 4.80 acres of floodplain on the existing Village on the Green subject property. However, the newly incorporated 6.83 acre parcel does not contain any floodplain or wetlands. The development proposes a new access point onto Wekiva Springs Road from the newly incorporated 6.83 acre parcel referred to as Pod E, while maintaining access via Sable Point Drive. Wekiva Springs Road is classified as an urban minor arterial, while Sable Palm Drive is classified as a local roadway. There are discussions of a gate into the proposed Pod E site. The county engineer has concerns with access to the site, such as possible queuing out onto Wekiva Springs Road. And based on these traffic concerns, a right turn lane or other entrance requirements may be required at the time of final engineering. The developer will be required to maintain a 15-foot wide landscape buffer along the south and southeast perimeter and a 10-foot wide landscape buffer along the west boundary of the newly incorporated 6.83 acre parcel referred to as Pod E. The amenity area encompassing the amenities building and sport courts shall maintain the previously approved 10-foot wide buffer along the southern boundary of Pod B2. The proposed project is located within the Little Wekiva Drainage Basin. A portion of the site has a master drainage basin system. Due to the basin having a limited downstream capacity, the site will have to be designed to hold water quality and the pre versus post volumetric difference for the 25-24 year storm event. The purpose and intent of the Planned Development Future Land Use Designation is to enable innovative arrangements of the land development features that are not possible with the use of standard land use designations and zoning districts. The proposed PD Plan Development zoning classification is compatible with the redevelopment in the area along Wekiva Springs Road. The proposed use creates a compatible transition between the existing commercial and residential developments, incorporating appropriate setbacks, landscaping, and open space. The master development plan demonstrates adequate buffering along the entire perimeter of the subject site and fencing around the entire site. The applicant has demonstrated that the proposed development is consistent with the comprehensive plan as referenced in the staff report. As per the Land Development Code, Section 30.8.5.3 states in approving a plan development, the Board of County Commissioners shall affirm that the proposed development is consistent with the comprehensive plan, greater benefit and innovation criteria. In addition, PD zoning may be approved only when the board determines that the proposed development cannot be reasonably implemented, though existing provisions of this code, and that a PD would result greater benefits to the county than development under conventional zoning district regulations. Such greater benefits must include 2 or more of the following. The first benefit is crime prevention. The developer proposes to install a secure perimeter fence with adequate landscape buffering between adjacent land uses that differ in density. This includes a fenced site with controlled single-point gate access for the exclusive use of residents and their authorized guests. And the second benefit is the reduction in vehicle miles traveled per household. The proposed development is situated within the designated urban centers and corridors overlay, and by expanding housing opportunities, including a range of housing types for senior citizens, and providing convenient access to on-site amenities, amenity buildings and sport courts, as well as leveraging existing pedestrian infrastructure to nearby retail and grocery stores. The applicant has demonstrated that the proposed development is compliant with all relevant sections of the review criteria, including design standards, neighborhood improvements, and common usable open space requirements as demonstrated in the architectural renderings and referenced in your staff report. Staff finds the proposed plan development future land use designation and the plan development zoning classification to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. The applicant conducted a community meeting on May 8th, 2025, and no one attended the meeting. Details of the community meeting have been provided in your agenda package. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on August 6, 2025, and voted unanimously to recommend the Board of County Commissioners adopt the ordinance enacting a small-scale future land use map amendment from high-density residential and plan development to plan development, and adopt the associated ordinance enacting a rezone from R3 multiple family dwelling and PD plan development to PD plan development, and approve the associated development order and master development plan. In response to public concerns raised at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting regarding the lack of notification for the community meeting, the commission directed the applicant to conduct an informal outreach with adjacent neighbors and nearby homeowners associations. As a result, the applicant held a community outreach meeting on August 19th to address questions from the Springs HOA about the proposed development. Staff requests the Board of County Commissioners approve the proposed small-scale future land use map amendment and concurrent rezone as per the following two motions. Based on staff's findings and the testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the Board of County Commissioners finds the request meets the identified portions of the comprehensive plan and moves to adopt the ordinance enacting a small-scale future land use map amendment from high-density residential and plan development to plan development. And based on staff's findings and testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the Board of County Commissioners finds the request meets the identified portions of the Seminole County Land Development Code and moves to adopt the ordinance enacting a rezone from R3 multiple family dwelling and PD plan development to PD plan development, and approve the associated development order and master development plan. And lastly, for the record, the applicant notified us this afternoon of the proposed changes to the location of the sports courts in response to concerns raised during the informal community meeting. However, staff has not reviewed a revised master development plan or development order. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Silloway.
Thank you.
I do have a question. Any insight to why there was no attendance at the first community meeting, but there seemed to be some attendance at the planning and zoning? Did we follow up and dig into that?
The applicant stated that they met the requirements for the 1,000-foot radius that's required for community meeting requirements. However, for the notifications that we send out, it's 1,500-foot radius. So that, I think that was why some of the community did not attend the meeting.
Okay. And I know I was here in 2018. I think all of us were here in 2018. We went through this. This was a pretty big issue back then. With the golf course and so forth. And I know the district commissioner, Commissioner Constantine, spent a great deal of time in the community. And I think every one of us spent time up there going through. So this 6.83 acres, I want to make sure for the record, this is an existing 6.83 acres that was part of that 2018 decision-making process, or it was a newly acquired parcel since then?
It's a newly acquired parcel since then.
I just want to make sure we had that on the record.
No problem.
Okay. Any further questions from the board? Commissioner Lockhart.
Can you point me to the schematic that would show where the sports court is? I think it might be page 927.
927?
I'm not sure in your, the number in your agenda package, but that is the architectural rendering. As far as the location of the sport courts, I can go also to the master development plan. So that's a zoomed-in view of the master.
Zoomed in?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So pod B2 is shown to be, the amenity buildings and the two sport locations where it's grayed out over to the bottom right. Do you want me to point it?
If you can.
I don't see sports courts on there. Are we talking pickleball? Is that what we're talking about? And we're
Pickleball.
calling them sports courts? No? Yeah,
Put
I got
the-
one. That's so funny. One
put
of
the
you nodded your
conceptual
head
back
yes,
up.
and the other nodded your head no. You got to get your story straight before you come sit down.
So,
Okay.
okay.
So they're up there and so that's a very small court of some sort. Okay.
Yes, so there's an amenity building, and
Uh-huh.
then there would be a sports court. There isn't two that are shown on the conceptual plan, but that is the area
Okay.
of where they're
So you're
proposed.
proposing to move the courts but leave the building where it is?
That's correct.
Great.
Okay.
I have a question for staff.
Yes, Commissioner Delory.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your presentation, you spoke about that staff will need additional review to see if there's turning lanes that need to be installed. Is there enough real estate to do that?
I can leave that question up to engineering.
All right. Mr. Gomez.
Jose Gomez, Development Services Director. So right now, the frontage of that site is actually already on a retaining wall, and the sidewalk's actually right on the back of curbs. So in order to fit a turn lane there will likely need to be dedication from from the frontage, from the property owner, and that retaining will probably have to be extended and new handrail installed there. So there will be some work and some dedication.
I
that will be
realize that. I just
raised.
want to make sure that there's enough real estate to do that.
There is enough real estate if the applicant dedicates the necessary right-of-way.
There you go. All right. All right, any further questions of staff? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Gomez. Would the applicant come forward, please, and give your presentation? Good afternoon. Your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon. For the record, McGregor Love, 215 North Eola Drive from the Lowndes Law Firm. Here on behalf of the applicant. Chairman Zembauer, I want to at first address your question about the community meeting notice because it's something that we've looked into and genuinely don't have an answer for, but I can give you the facts as I know them, which are the notices were sent out prior to the meeting. I believe it was prior to the planning board meeting. We actually received at the law firm several return envelopes, I believe about 3. We still have them because we thought it was odd because we received them after the meeting was conducted. When we conducted the informal meeting, one of the folks that attended said that the day before she received the notice, the mailed notice for the actual community meeting. So I have no idea what hijinks happened with the U.S. Postal Service or however it was mailed out, but I believe the folks when they say that they didn't receive a mailed notice of it. But I believe that in the intervening, during that meeting, after that meeting, and in our informal meeting, we've really tried to inform the public about what we're proposing here, and I think that we've been largely successful in that regard.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So if you could, Annie, to just flip to the next page, and this is just, so for context, and this was sent in, and I believe it'll be as part of your record, the first several of these slides are the slides that I showed at the informal community meeting. And I really tailored these based on, some of the questions about the application. And Commissioner Lockhart, you were looking at the master development plan saying, I don't see courts there. I believe that's what much of the confusion was related to with the master development plan. It's just very general. Yeah, and it doesn't really provide much information about, where are these uses going to be in practice. So what I wanted to do is to show, first of all, the parcel-let question clearly out front, and then we showed a concept plan as well. So this was the first slide that we showed at that meeting. You can flip to the next one, Annie. This is it's very difficult for you to see, so I will tell you what the numbers say. This was conducted by Kimley Horner, engineer, after the first meeting, because really the main issue that this neighborhood has, that this area has, is stormwater. It's an issue in this area. But we're in a unique position where we can say that this development will, in its own limited scope way, improve the situation, because what is there right now, you couldn't build right now. You could reuse it. Another tenant could come in and put it, make it into a skating rink if they wanted to, or some other use, because it is a legal non-conforming building. But if you redevelop it, now you have to meet code. And so what we have there right now is 71.7% existing impervious area. And that was calculated based on our survey. And you can go to the next. And this is Google 3D image of the existing building, built in 1983, 67,125 square feet. And again, there's the more legible ISR. You can go to the next. Thank you, Annie. So this is a concept plan, and you can see in red, I had to do my lawyerly work there, and I did at the community meeting, that this is really just for informational purposes only, and it is meant to give more information than the bubble plan did, of course. So this is a combination of Pod E and B2. So what we're proposing, 40 independent living units, the reduced ISR, the existing, LDC allows a max of 60%. Right now, we're anticipating around 55%, and that's pretty conservative. So it will be a substantial decrease in impervious area. Right now, the use, it was a call center that produces 119 PM peak trips. The proposed use would be 20 PM peak trips. And these are the really two large issues that we can say that we will improve. You can go to the next one. And this is where we diverge from what I showed at the community meeting, and I begin to present new information to you. So the sports courts. This was something that surprised me at the community meeting that we held, because it was probably the most favorably received bit of news that we were able to tell those residents, is that we are not going to have pickleball courts where this concept plan shows courts. We're not going to have courts, hard asphalt courts of any kind in this area. We're going to move that to the existing development, which is, in relation to this, is to the northwest, kind of near where I believe where the old, golf clubhouse is, somewhere that's currently in the boundary of the PD and away from neighboring property owners. Right now, the anticipation is that we still will have an amenity building. That'll be permitted as part of the use, but we'll remove the sports courts, and that was something that was a big item for the folks who raised concerns. So we can go to the next one. Now I am going to move on to some questions that came up during that meeting that we said that we would look a little bit further into. One is the landscaping buffering. So we do have some enhanced landscape buffers here, and I know that Annie with the county did go over those, so I won't spend too much time on them. This is just the images are side by side, so again, we can relate the very general master development plan to the existing, aerial. So we have types B and H, and if we go to the next page, Annie, as Annie described in her presentation, these are both 15-foot wide landscape buffers. And there's an opacity rating there associated with. Another question that came up at the community meeting is whether, because in fairness, the development order provides for landscaping, it doesn't really discuss maintenance. I was positive that we were required to maintain it, but this is the land development code section that, of course, would apply, that any landscaping that's required to be installed must be maintained. So I just want to make it clear to you and to the public that we are obligated to maintain landscaping that we install. And another point on this that I'll mention, can you actually, Andy, would you mind going back to that previous paper? So you can see along that southeast boundary, there is existing tree and ground coverage. So existing trees and shrubs can be counted towards that requirement, but we don't know whether that will be enough to meet what the type H and type A will require, but we'll determine that during final site plan. But existing can count towards that. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you. You can move on to that next one. And finally, there was a specific question related to this area, very specific. And, you know, there was some discussion about whether we had the right to sort of drain. This is, by the way, off-site. It's to the north part of the Village on the Green, so not exactly related to this project, but something we said that we would look into. This is on our property, and there was a discussion about needing an easement to drain into this area, but we just wanted to show the property appraiser's kind of image of this to show that it is on our property. And then the next image is the layer from the FEMA map, just to show that this is kind of a low area that water all kind of collects down to. That concludes my presentation. We have folks from Kimley Horn here. We have folks from the owner and operator of the proposed development who can answer questions, and we have our architect as well. So any questions you have, we invite them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any inquiries from the board at this point? Okay, seeing none, we will go to public comment. How many do we have, Ms. Dominique?
Only one.
Okay. When we call your name, if you'd come down, give us your name and address on the record, and tell us what your thoughts are.
Is Sue Jordan.
Ms. Jordan. Good afternoon and welcome, and feel free to pull that down to your comfort.
Thank you. I'm Sue Jordan. I live at 163 Crown Point Circle. I'm the HOA president of the neighborhood that butts up right against this,
Ms. Jordan,
Yes.
real quick, sorry to interrupt. Are you here on behalf of the HOA? In other words, has your board sent you here to speak on behalf of all the residents of your HOA?
No, I came, so that
Okay.
meeting on the 8th, I was in a play at the Ritz here in Sanford, and I could not attend.
I just wanted to make sure how much time you had, so you'll have your standard 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not here, in fact, I didn't even have my name on here until I heard a couple of things mentioned that I was like, I'm not sure if that's correct or not.
Sure.
So nothing official, but I, was informed of the May 8th, and then got the letter of this meeting, and then one previous to this, I think. But I was not aware of the informal August 19th meeting, and when someone was up here speaking, they said, we let the Springs know. Well, we are Crown Point at the Springs. We are not the Springs. Our neighborhood is right up against the pond, or the retention pond, or whatever that is, and a lot of the photographs seem to be old photographs before my condo association. They built another building after the 80s. So there's an entire 2 buildings that are built right there next to the pond. And it's hard for me to see on these photographs, I don't see those buildings included in the maps and the drawings. But I will say at our last meeting, there's only 2 of us on the board, by the way, so the treasurer...
That makes things efficient, doesn't it?
Yes, no, it does not. The treasurer had gone on and seen some of the photographs, and we were actually very relieved and excited because actually the sports court seemed good, but also just the landscaping. And that retention pond, we've had trouble finding out whose responsibility it is to keep it clean. It needs to be dredged. When it rains, like last year during the rainy season, the water just rises, and so we felt like, given the way the rest of Village on the Green looks, it's going to improve and beautify that area. But I'm concerned with the space between the pond and where our property is, because it's my understanding that right now there's a lot of space there and a lot of shrubbery, but that our actual property line is really up close to our condo building, our actual line. So tonight, when I heard the fencing and the easement, there was going to be space there, that was very encouraging. But I was concerned what type of fence, right? Because right now, out my deck, I see this green space, and it's amazing why I bought the condo. But if there's going to be a fence, that's going to change things. And there's a lot of space there, so we were wondering, like tonight I heard pedestrian walkways, because that was the other thing. We thought, well, maybe they're going to want their members to be able to walk around the retention pond and get to the sports court, and that could be a good thing. Will there be a sidewalk on that side of the pond where currently there isn't anything that will come up onto what isn't our property technically, but it is definitely in our view? So I felt like we wanted to learn more. That first meeting, I couldn't attend, and then I'm here at this meeting hoping to learn more. So I just wanted to ask the question about that August 19th meeting, if it went to Crown Point at the Springs in addition to the Springs, because we actually have property up on the line. The Springs is more, I'm not sure about that, so.
We'll see if we can get some, we'll see if we can get
It's the pond specifically, and on the landscaping thing, I couldn't see where the pond was in relation to those buildings, so I'd love
Sure.
some further explanation on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, any further public input on this matter?
No, sir.
Okay, we will go back to the applicant for any rebuttal, and hopefully, Mr. Love, you can maybe address some of the questions that this HOA might have had.
Yes, again, for the record, McGregor Love. Regarding the notice, this was an informal meeting, and the way that we did it is, we were given direction, after that meeting, and as part of the sort of recommendation for approval, why don't you cooperate with the folks who spoke there that night, and we actually met with them out in the hall for probably 20 minutes, and we kind of gathered as much contact information as we could, and then used folks who seemed to be well connected with the various associations to send out email notices. And I apologize that the woman who spoke did not receive one of those, but I hope that we can answer those questions for her today. If we could, Andy, do you have the ability to go back to the concept plan paper? Or if you have a aerial of it. So, I believe that what is being discussed here, the woman's property is to the east. Is it to the east? So, around the retention pond area, there is, you can see, a walkway that'll be on our property, on the PD property. There is no proposed walkway across any of the retention ponds right now. That's not anticipated. But again, this is, when you look at what, and I want to be clear about what the sort of limits of a development order are and what the limits of a master development plan are. I mean, what you're seeing now is a concept plan, shows a non-binding visualization of what might be on the property. But that's not binding like the master development plan is binding, and it's not to say that we couldn't propose a walkway across one of the retention ponds. It's not currently anticipated. But related to the retention pond issue, this was discussed at the informal meeting, that the condition of those ponds today is a concern, and those will have to be recertified as part of our development review. So the condition of those ponds, through development should improve. Apart from that, that is as best as I can do to answer those questions. If you have more pointed ones that might direct me in the right area, I'm happy to try to answer those as well.
Any further inquiries, Commissioner Constantine?
Thank you. The other question that Crown Point brought up was the fence. So could you answer that question?
So, yeah, the fence, the requirement, if that development is maybe to the south, that probably is going to be the landscape. I actually believe I see now that I'm looking at the aerial. Could you go to, Annie, do you have an aerial of the property? So I believe that the woman is referring to the property in that, if you look at the image on the right side, I believe it's at that corner of the right, the eastern side of that aerial. So,
South.
southeast, that's exactly.
Can you point to it just to make sure we've got it on the record?
Sure.
Right here, okay.
Ma'am, is that your,
No, it's way down, down lower, that area.
Ma'am, is that what you're concerned with? Okay,
okay,
we got it.
thank you, ma'am.
No, actually, this way though, too. I can't see the pond. Where's the pond on there? Pond's up here? Okay. So that whole, that pond and then down towards Kite Springs Road, the whole property there.
Okay. So those are the buildings you were asking about that are right there on that border, correct? All right. So, Mr. Love, you want to endeavor upon what's happening there?
Sure. So again, those are going to be the two buffer types, at the buffer type H and the buffer, landscape buffer type B. So those will both be 15-foot wide with an opacity rating of 0.3. And fencing requirements, I don't have that information in front of me. I don't know if there's someone from county staff that might be able to weigh in on what those fencing requirements are.
Staff, do you want to make a comment on that?
Hi, Annie Silloway for the record. Yes, the applicant is proposing to fence around the duplexes and single-family on the outside. The landscape buffers will be on the outside of the perimeter fence. I don't know at this point what type of fence it will be, but they are proposing to fence around the perimeter, excluding the portion to access to the existing Village on the Green site.
So to be clear, I want to make sure what you just said is what I think I understood.
Sure.
There's going to be a fence, then there's going to be a landscape barrier on the outside of the fence. Is that true or not?
Yes.
Okay.
So if, where the required landscape buffers are required to be placed, the landscape buffers will be on the outside of a fenced-in area.
So from the adjoining properties, they will first see the landscaping buffer before the fence?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just want to make sure. Commissioner Lockhart.
They're not going to be, sorry.
So could you point to me in the development order where the fence is mentioned?
It's going to be in the, I'm sorry, Commissioner Lockhart. It's going to be, the development order won't say directly where the fence is going to be located,
No.
but it's in the
word
landscape
fence.
buffer.
The word fence. Where is the word fence in the development order?
Oh, I don't know that it's in there.
That's my
because
point.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the buffer.
she's saying there's going to be a fence, and I'm reading the development order looking for where it says there's a fence, and I don't see a fence, I only see landscape buffers, and the applicant just referred to H and...
Right, those are in the code. The buffer requirements are in the code, so the fencing would be in the code as far as opacity goes, based on the type of buffer.
Okay, so I'm going to do my Holiday Inn Express thing again from this morning. If it's not in the development order, it's not going to happen. So if there's going to be a fence, if there's expected to be a fence, it needs to be in the DO. Is that not correct?
So the development order references the type of buffer that's required. The buffer in the code tells you about the fencing or the wall you can have. And Annie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It tells you the level of opacity. So if you say you're required to have this buffer, and in the code, that buffer requires fencing or an opacity level that would require a fence, it would be in the code, so it would be required. The DO references the code requirements for this.
Okay, I don't think a .3 opacity requires a fence.
Yes, so Tanesa's, what she just explains is correct. You're asking about where the fence is called out. It is not called out in the development order, but it can be added.
Well, no, I'm not asking to add it.
Okay.
I believe you're asking if it's required. Is the fence required?
Right, because it says .3 opacity for both of the areas that you identified, and I wouldn't think .3 opacity would require a fence.
It does not require a fence.
Okay, so why are we talking about fences? I just want to make sure we're clear, because the lady from the neighboring development is now hearing there's going to be a fence, but there is nothing written in here, unless it had 100% opacity. I don't know what opacity requires a fence, but I know .3 doesn't. So I just want to make sure that nobody's leaving here misinformed, creating other problems later down the road. And Commissioner
good.
Constantine, forgive me, this is your district, and
that's
I'm
okay.
meddling.
I'm
I'm
going to-
meddling in your district.
No, so.
No, you're not.
So,
I mean,
all I
I'm going to
was-
try to get this clear, too.
So to be clear, before we go to District Commissioner, and then Commissioner Delory, the purpose of this hearing is, why we're here today is make this decision as Board of County Commission is not a public community meeting that has already been held and subsequent held. I'm trying to give some latitude to let the community understand or try to get some understanding since you weren't able to make that meeting. So with that said, we'll move to the Commissioner.
Can I just ask, can I ask a question for Commissioner Constantine? Because
Sure,
it's along the
Commissioner
same
Delory.
lines as Commissioner Lockhart. And the applicant, as well as the DO on buffer H, as well as a couple other ones, talks about opacity rating, and now they're adding a fence. Is the fence going to be in lieu of the opacity rating, or is it going to be with the, I need clarification.
Sure, that's not a problem.
So please.
Sure. So the buffers that are called out in the development order are required by the code. The addition of the fence was on the applicant's, they're providing it in addition to the landscape buffers.
So it's going to provide the buffer, which is an opacity of 0.3, plus a fence.
That's correct.
Okay, so,
Commissioner Constantine, go ahead, and then
All right.
then I need to
Let me-
follow up a couple things as
yeah,
well.
let me just first, Madam Clerk, what is the nice young lady that spoke earlier? Because everybody's saying
Say
the lady.
lady.
Yeah, the lady.
Her name
Thank you.
is Sue Jordan.
Sue
Jordan.
Fine.
Ms.
Okay,
Jordan.
Miss Jordan. Miss Jordan is concerned, and I'm sure those people at Crown Point, because you look at it, it's the southeast, that right now they look out over a drainage ditch that
Right.
looks like, well, but looks like a lake to them.
Right.
Okay?
got
It's a body of water that they will not touch, but they like to look at, okay? So the question now is, we had this fence. I'd never heard anything about a fence until Miss Jordan brought it up. So are we having a fence or we are not having a fence? And I think it's not required, but it is required. So is somebody, Mr. Love, can tell me whether there's going to be a fence or not?
This is the part of the hearing where I am going to call up one of my team members.
Bring somebody up,
Yeah.
please.
I think I heard Mr. Love say earlier,
They're all moving at once.
offense.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find out where, who, why, and how.
All right, if you'd come up, sir, and give us your name and address for the record.
Darren Asdo,
I
AIA
haven't
architect, outside in architect, I'm sorry, Pi Architects, 1345 Virginia Lee Circle, Brooksville, Florida. So with discussion about the code, I mean, our intent is to meet the code. If there's a requirement or a need to have a fence, for security, then I think it's in the right of the applicant to have that fence. I do respect Crown Point's, views. I think that that's something that's important. It's unfortunate when they planned their site that they did place their buildings right up against, the property line. It does, make not a lot of space for vegetation. The location of a fence in that area does present a maintenance issue, though. When you do put up a fence and you try to put landscaping between a fence and a property line, it becomes just that, a maintenance issue. And then there's sometimes, question about who's maintaining that and so forth. So when we get to the site plan portion of our design, I think that's going to come into play.
Correct.
So.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. So I want to get straight for everybody. So you hadn't planned a fence, is what you just said?
We had not planned a fence at that area.
Stop.
Miss Jordan thought that there was going to be a fence, and she was concerned about her view. Is that, just shake your head? Yeah, okay. So she was concerned about that. You're not talking about a fence right now, though.
I wouldn't preclude that at this point. I think when we finish the site planning and
But we do have the buffer.
We do have the buffer.
Okay, and that was nice. They liked the buffer. So I just wanted to get it clear between the people that have talked, what's going on. Okay, thank you very much. Right now, you don't know whether there's going to be a fence or not.
I do not.
Thank you. Okay.
And I think what I heard earlier from Mr. Love was there was a possibility for security reasons, a fence would be erected.
Yes, I think at the site planning stage of this evaluation.
And that would be the appropriate time, is during the site planning, for us to understand what all goes in place. Because I also
Right.
heard that there may be some interaction with one of the ponds on this parcel to help improve drainage, which is subject to change a lot of things, depending on what St. John's Water Management makes you do or not do, whatever the county code makes you do and not do. So I think I understand that. I just want to be clear. All I was trying to do, in abundance of caution, was try to help the community hear some details that they weren't able to attend to a meeting. That's all. So, Mr. Love, if you want to try to wrap things up, we'll try to move this along to the board.
Sure, and I did speak with Kimley Horner Engineers while this discussion was taking place, and there is no current intention to put a fence in this area. That's the last word on this that I will say.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We will close any public input and move to board action. Commissioner Constantine, this is your district.
So just a little bit about the history. There has been some concern during some of the rainy season and also during the hurricanes about a lot of flooding over to the springs. And from this, using this potentially, this area as the culprit, if you will. The discussion at the Board of Zoning was a good one in that they suggested to have a meeting with those folks, and there was a lot of folks there that had a concern about specifically the drainage and the stormwater and all that. It seems, because I don't see them here or speaking, that a lot of those concerns have been addressed. And we've already had the discussion earlier in the Land Development Code about impervious surface, and the fact of the matter is, taking down that 67,000 square foot building and putting up less impervious area is going to be a good thing. And Mr. Gomez has indicated that he felt that that was going to be a positive for the drainage in that area, all of that to come. Ms. Jordan, who was not at either of those two meetings, does feel also that there's going to be improvements here. So that's a good thing. I would just suggest, I'm not going to put it in the motion, but I would just suggest that the Village Green folks get with that homeowners association of two and work with them about since they like the buffering, but, just concerns about the fences so that their view is not obstructed into the drainage ditch. So, or the beautiful lake, whatever you want to call it. So, if we don't have any more discussion, I will
Floor is yours, Commissioner.
suggest and make a motion to, let me just get the motion out so that I've got it here, that based on the staff findings and the testimony of evidence received from the hearing, the Board of County Commissioners find requests to meet the identified portions of the comprehensive plan and moves to adopt the ordinance enacting a small-scale future land use map amendment from high-density residential and planned development to planned development, and based on the staff's finding and the testimony and evidence received at the hearing, the Board of County Commissioners finds the request meets the identified portions of the Seminole County Land Development Code and moves the adoption of the ordinance enacting the rezone of R3, multifamily dwelling, and PD, planned development to planned development, and approve the associated development order and master development plan.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Carries unanimous. Thank you all very much.
So, Ms. Jordan, you now have the opportunity to talk to them and make sure that everything works for you.
And I appreciate you all allowing us to take the time and spend a little extra time for Ms. Jordan and her folks, which we typically don't do, but we have some time this afternoon, so thank you. Next item up is item 22, Cigar Lounge Special Exception. This will be presented by Ms. Hillary Payton.
Cigar Lounge.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Hillary Payton, Planning and Development. This item is a request for a special exception for the Cigar Lounge to amend an existing special exception for an alcoholic beverage establishment to allow for expansion in the Loma Vista Plan development on 2.29 acres. located on the northwest corner of West State Road 426 and Via Loma Drive. The applicant currently operates an existing cigar lounge and a shopping plaza via special exception approved on October 25th, 2010 for on-premise consumption of beer and wine as an accessory use to the tobacco products offered for sale. The applicant is requesting to amend the special exception to reflect the expansion of the operation that occurred into the adjacent unit to continue serving beer and wine. Under the previous ownership, the cigar lounge increased from 1,350 square feet to 2,500 square feet in size and seats 25 patrons with no outdoor seating. The hours of operation are currently Monday through Wednesday from 12:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., Thursday through Saturday from 12:30 p.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Seminole County Land Development Code states that any establishment selling alcoholic beverages for on-site consumption shall maintain separations from all churches and schools. The cigar lounge meets all separation requirements and will continue to meet these requirements with the proposed expansion. The Land Development Code states that certain criteria must be met for the Board of County Commissioners to approve a special exception request. Staff finds that the request meets the 4 criteria. On July 15, 2025, the applicant held a community meeting in compliance with the Land Development Code. Details of the community meeting have been provided in the agenda package. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on August 6, 2025, and voted unanimously to recommend that the Board of County Commissioners approve the amended special exception. The minutes are provided in the agenda package. Staff requests that the Board of County Commissioners approve the amendment of an existing special exception to allow, with the conditions as stated in the development order, an alcoholic beverage establishment to expand in the PD Planned Development District on 2.29 acres located on the northwest corner of West State Road 426 and Via Loma Drive. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Payton. Any questions for staff at this point? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. Payton. And is the applicant here and wish to address the board? If so, please come down. You have nothing to say? That's good. Okay. He's shaking his head no.
Introduce himself and say that.
He might want to do a little spiel about his business.
He might want to invite us to the new grand opening.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
Name and address, please.
Hello, Ryan Labar, 1909 Criterion Court, Windermere, Florida. So we purchased this establishment 2 years ago, and when we went to apply to renew or transfer the beer and wine license, I guess the previous owner knocked out the wall in between the units, so he expanded the unit, and we were declined, and we've been going through this, I guess, ever since.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone here from the public to speak on this item?
No, sir.
Seeing none, we'll close public input and move to board action. Commissioner Gloria, this is your
Mr. Chairman,
district.
based on the staff's finding and testimony and evidence received today at this hearing, the request does meet and identify the portions of the Land Development Code, and move to approve the amendment of the special exception to allow for conditions stated by the development order and alcoholic beverage establishment to be expanded in the PD district as presented here today.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? Carries unanimously. Thank you all very much. Next item up is number 23. This is a legislative public hearing. This is the non-ad valorem assessment roll. This will be presented by Tamika Morton. Good afternoon, Ms. Tamika.
Good afternoon. How is everyone doing?
Good.
Tamika Morton, MSB Program Manager. This public hearing is to provide an opportunity for the public's input prior to the board adopting and certifying the consolidated non-ad valorem assessment roll for the tax year of 2025. The assessment roll is a listing by parcel identification number of the assessments levied to fund public services that offer a special benefit to the properties on a localized basis. The public services funded in Seminole County via non-ad valorem assessment includes street lighting, residential solid waste management, lake management services, as well as certain capital-funded projects. Typically, these services are provided in response to property owner requests. The 2025 non-ad valorem assessment roll includes the annual variable rate assessments and the capital assessment installment billings associated with all active MSBUs. 384 MSBUs were previously established by ordinances and adopted at various public hearings. The consolidated assessment roll has more than 130,000 assessments that will generate over $26 million in revenue. Lake management and street lighting are the only two types of MSBUs that have had assessment adjustments. The assessment adjustments were based off of the needs of the lake as well as utility costs. The 2025 assessment roll for MSBUs via rate with variable rates were authorized by the board via Resolution 2025-R-64 on July 22nd, 2025. As required by Florida statute, both published and mailed notices for this hearing were issued. The assessment roll presented today reflects the data mailed to property owners by the non-ad valorem assessment notice on August 4th, 2025. The final roll to be submitted to the tax collector by September 15th for inclusion in the 2025 property tax roll would include minor updates to accommodate for property record changes and residential solid waste option changes. Following public input, it is requested that the board approves the resolution adopting the 2025 non-ad valorem assessment roll and certify that Seminole County tax collector. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Morton. Any questions or inquiries for Ms. Morton? Seeing none, we will go to public input. Is there any public speakers on this item?
No, sir.
We will close public input and go to board action. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve the resolution adopting the 2025 non-ad valorem assessment roll and certify to the Seminole County tax collector.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Carries unanimously.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Next item up is item number 24. This will be presented by Deputy County Manager, Ms. Tricia Johnson.
Hello.
Good afternoon,
Chairman and Commissioners. Tricia Johnson, Deputy County Manager. This afternoon, we're here to discuss Chapter 53 of the Seminole County Code of Ordinances. All right, thank you. Okay. As you know, Chapter 53 establishes the county's code enforcement program, including the Code Enforcement Board, the Special Magistrate, enforcement procedures, and the Code Citation Program. The purpose of today's item is to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 53. As you know, these items were discussed with you in depth at the August 26th work session. The recommended amendments include delegating certain authority to the county manager, standardizing the rules and procedures for both the code board and the special magistrate, returning the lien reduction process to the special magistrate, revising the maximum allowable fines as authorized by Florida statute, removing the recommended fines table, and revising the citation process. As you know, our work began in April 2024. Today, September 9th, we bring forward the first set of code changes for your consideration. You're already familiar with the progression of our key action items. However, I do want to point out the underlined bullet on the slide. Specifically, the code enforcement team will return at the September 23rd commission meeting to present recommended updates to chapters 95, 120, 168, and the administrative code. In addition, the new Code Enforcement Division will officially launch on October 1st. The requested action before you today is the adoption of the ordinance amending Chapter 53 Code Enforcement of the Seminole County Code of Ordinances. I'm happy to take your questions along with Mike Rhodes, who is sitting behind me.
Great. Any inquiries of staff on this item? Commissioner Lockhart.
I don't know if I just need some clarification. On page 18 of the draft ordinance, and it's also on 18 and 19. The maximum civil penalty pursuant to this part shall not exceed $500 per violation. And I'm wondering if this part is a particular area that we all know we've had code violations much greater than $500. So can I just better understand what this is referring to? Because it's also on line 391, violations and penalties shall be subject to the maximum civil penalty, which shall not exceed $500 per violation.
Do you want to speak? No, go ahead.
Commissioner, for the record, my name is Mike Rhodes. I believe that this section refers specifically to the code citation process, and by statute, the code citations have a maximum fine amount of $500.
We go to the county attorney for verification. County attorney's office.
Well, look, I'll let Jennifer Nix answer that.
Jennifer's been hard at work on this.
Yes, she has.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jennifer Nix, Assistant County Attorney. Yes, this is just for the civil citations. So that's a different ballgame than the typical violations that go to the code board or special.
Got it. This is my dog was out running around, civil citation.
We do have a schedule of things that it can be for.
Yeah, but just like that, is that an example? Like what kinds, just for the benefit of everybody, including me, civil citations could include?
Parking, sorry, Mike.
I was going to say, these citations, remember we talked about, are issued to people rather than to property.
Right.
So it could be for an illegal vendor set up on the side of the road, or it could be other violations. Loose chickens.
My chickens into this.
Yes.
Great.
Got it.
And again, this is consistent with state statute
Got
as
it.
well, so
Okay,
we're
thank
capped
you.
at $500.
All right, appreciate that.
Any further inquiries? Seeing none? All right, stay tuned. Do we have any public comments on these matters?
No, sir.
Fantastic. We'll close public input and go to board action.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
We've worked a long time on this, but more than that, the staff has worked a long time on
Yes,
this.
they
And I
have.
want to give them compliments, kudos. It looks so great, let's hope it works. And I will move approval.
Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Yes. Thank you all very much for all the hard work that you all put in, and I know a lot of time. This is something that we've been struggling with since I arrived here in 2018, but we've really put the focus on this after the pandemic. So, good work. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? Seeing none, carries unanimous. Mr. Gray, you have something?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I know that at the last board meeting, we praised a couple people, but there is one person that I personally left out, and I want to thank Jennifer Nix in our county attorney's office because she's pulled her hair out with us on this, as Ms. Johnson knows. But Jennifer, we thank you for all your help regarding this. I know it wasn't easy.
Thank you very much.
Good work. Good work. All righty, we will now go to the county attorney's report. Ms. Kate Latour.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a follow-up discussion on an item that I have individually updated you on over the last week or so, having to do with the River Cross litigation. As you know, we have an attorney's fee judgment from the federal court in the county's favor in the amount of $432,000 and some change that has yet to be satisfied by the plaintiff in that case. And we met a couple of months ago to discuss options. We have since been in negotiations with the county's, the company that currently maintains the county's claim in this case. We have an open insurance claim, and the insurance company has informed the county that they are going to pay that claim out, and that payment's going to be $417,000, which is, and some change, which is the correct amount based on certain cost judgments that we've already been paid out. What it doesn't cover is the county's interest on its judgment. It's post-judgment interest, which is by federal statute able to be recovered, and it accrues daily until the judgment is paid. So at this point, any further action by the county to be made completely whole, including the interest, it'll be on the county's dime. There won't be insurance coverage for that. If we used outside counsel, we would pay outside counsel attorney's fees. And I just wanted to get the temperature of the board to see if there was an interest to go after the interest, which I did not say on purpose.
In the interest of saving time, what is the interest amount?
Approximately, and this is a rough number, I'm looking at about $45,000 or $50,000.
Okay. And any idea, cost to go after the 45K? That's accruing daily? Just round number.
I think it would be more than $45,000 or $50,000 when it's
Okay.
all said and done,
Fair.
based on what we know of the parties that are involved.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Commission, start with Commissioner Lockhart.
For fair purposes, I would love to pursue every bit that is owed to the citizens of Seminole County, but is the juice worth the squeeze? Will we wind up paying more money to go after that, to make a point? I'm not sure that it makes sense for the taxpayers to spend that money, even though we all understand how we got here.
Yeah.
Commissioner Constantine, you're the same thought
Ditto.
process?
It's just sad that somebody seems to, get away with things all the time, not have any of the consequences.
Commissioner DeLaurie.
Mr. Chairman, I think Commissioner Lockhart summed it up. You have to weigh out, is the effort worth the gain? And there's too much effort here not to get enough gain out of it. Most of our money is being reimbursed by the insurance, and so we need to move on.
Commissioner Constantine, you have something else?
Well, we all are kind of like, okay, but without being, negative, let's congratulate our staff and everything. No, not you. I'm just saying all of us. But let's congratulate the fact that this is unique, that we won a judgment from a federal court stating that we would get attorney's fees back. That this doesn't happen very often. I have never heard of it happening, and that the ludicrous lawsuit that was placed before us by that applicant has been stated by the judge that we deserve the money back because it should have never been done in the first place. So congratulations to the citizens of Seminole County. You got your money back. We got our money, some of it at least, our money back.
Good point.
I concur. It's, at the end of the day, we've recovered the dollars that the taxpayers are out, and I do not believe it makes sense to spend $45K to collect $45K just to prove a point.
We already did.
And possibly drag it on for another, who knows how long.
We already proved the point.
Right. The insurance company will have their ability to do what they need to do, but at least our taxpayers are pretty much made whole at this point. So hopefully that gives you direction. It sounds like we're all singing from the same sheet of music here.
That is correct. I have my direction. Thank you.
Okay.
That was the only item I needed to discuss, Chairman.
Thank you very much. County Manager, do you have anything further today?
Just two quick good news items. We've received a couple of our Scout vehicles, microtransit, so we have put together a test group, and that day you will see them on the road later this week for a couple days for free rides around the county with our test group, just to work out all the bugs and kinks, so we're excited about that. You know that our new microtransit Scout program will launch on October the 15th, so that is underway. So you may hear some comments from the public or see them around the county.
Mr. Chair, when would the app be available?
Excuse me?
The app.
It's available now. You can download the app now on your phone.
Can you send us a link to it?
Yes, actually, I'll make sure you get it.
Okay.
Yep.
So on that note, I think it'd be great if we took a field trip as a commission.
We could do that.
We could go from here over to 5 Points, or maybe each of us start our own district and call and see how long it takes us to get to 5 Points.
Yeah, wait till it launches. This is just our testing group. If you want to be a part of the testing group, I can put you in there if you would like. Do it.
Take individual rides. Don't ride together. Just take individual rides, please.
Note what the attorney said. And then just another item, really kudos to our communications team. We have a new Seminole Stream Now live app that could be able to download, so residents can now watch the SGTV on demand, giving 24/7 access to our board meetings, community updates, and any emergency information. So I'll be sending that out to you all as well. So that is
great.
That is actually
Good
launched
work.
as well.
Very
That's all I
good.
have.
Very good, thank you very much. We will go to District 1, Commissioner Delary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
District report.
Yes, sir. I know we all follow and very dear to us are the veterans, and we owe great gratitude to the veterans that have served in many different confrontations around the world, and especially World War II. And on September 1st, unfortunately, there was an individual who was the last surviving pilot on the B-17 bomber group for the 100 bomber group. His name is John Lucky Doo. He died at 103 years old. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. The last surviving pilot on the B-17 group, 100 bomber group, that they had heavy losses because their bomber group targeted not only Germany but France and Poland. And many people of that bomber group wasn't around for many years, and he's the last survivor at 103 years old. So just want to let you know that that took place on September the 1st. I'd like to give also thanks to our big shout out to the Leisure Services Department for working hard over Labor Day weekend, that they spent a lot of hard work and coordinating, not just coordinating, but also labor in painting our crosswalks on our trails. I want to thank our group and Darren Gray, if you can have them be aware that we so appreciate their hard efforts. We greatly appreciate that. I've also been notified that we've funded, again, Bowling Drive Drainage Project. I've been gotten some emails from Patrick Charles. He's contacted our office for updates, and we forward those requests to John Slott as well as the County Manager's Office. And I know that they're communicating back and forth now. So Darren Gray, thank you very much for your group for doing that. And then the two last things. One is I've been contacted by some residents in the southeast part of Seminole County, which parallels McCulloch Road. These are Seminole County residents, and half of McCulloch Road is served by Orange County, the other half is served by Seminole County. And there's an issue because of some development that took place in Orange County. Because of that development, the road has to be widened, turn lanes have to be put in, and we have a maintenance agreement. We do not have a capital improvement agreement. And a lot of that is now affecting Seminole County. And there have been some conversations between our staff and Orange County staff about who is to do what. I think it should be shared, even though it really should have been done by the development in Orange County when they did the improvements. But since that's over and done with, and now it's kind of hard to go back to Orange County developer to do this, since we only have a maintenance agreement, not a capital improvement plan with Orange County, then I think that we should ask our staff to talk to the Orange County staff to figure out how that developer should be paying for their improvements, because we're only supposed to be maintaining. Maintenance is not capital improvement. And I really think that this is looking at our staff. We've already fronted the money for the design and engineering. We've already done that. We've done all the work. Orange County may want to participate, but we should not be the only one participating in this project because we're only supposed to be doing maintenance, not capital improvement. So, Mr. Gray, can you ask your staff to report back to us what the next steps could be and should be? Because it was their development on the Orange County side that caused all this to take place.
Sure, I'll follow up on that.
And I don't want to give our staff instructions. That's why I'm bringing it here today.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Then the last thing I have is, I know in the past, we were able to purchase pavers around the different memorials around 5 Points. I've had a couple people ask about me how to participate in that program. If you can get that to my office, I will make sure that those individuals are informed. Thank you. And then my report.
Thank you very much, sir. District 3, Commissioner Constantine.
Thank you very much. As you all know, August 28th, I spoke to the League of Women Voters concerning the budget, along with our county clerk. And Mr. Judge was also there. I want to thank him for being there, as well as my aide, and I think it was, the meeting altogether was well-received, and you know, they were very appreciative of the information that was given to them. I want to thank Commissioner Delory, who took my place at the Cowno meeting on September 3rd. I think he didn't mind going to Decision Tactical, though. That's always a lot of fun to go down there in Sanford.
Actually, the issue that I had was, I have no problem with people bearing arms. I just don't want them to get desensitized and playing Rambo with a gun that is just used for lasers. And so my issue was that.
Yeah. Understood. Also, on September 4th, I participated in a Central Florida Cares with Senator Ralston of Seminole County. He has been had a listening tour around the state of Florida. He had 2, and this is a senator that has been very supportive of the opioid concerns and trying to move forward with that. He is leaving the legislature, but he had a Recovery Connections. He had meetings both at the Recovery Connections in Longwood and the Hope and Healing Center in Sanford. On the 5th, the statewide council on opioid abatement met in Orlando, and I participated via virtually. And on the 6th, we had, in honor of those first responders that gave so much, especially those that gave their lives at the 9/11, we had the Tunnel to Towers 5K run in Cranes Roost. Again, hundreds, if not thousands, were participated, and it was wonderful to see so many first responders there, full equipment. Tomorrow, PBA is going to have our good friend Lee Corso there. I don't have to tell you how much, not just good publicity, but just how much, generated at game day on that Saturday. And it was amazing that every team he ever coached and every game that day, he, won. It was amazing. Tomorrow, Commissioner Delory and I will be at the Metro Plan. And on September 11th, the Central Florida Hotel and Lodging will have their annual Remembrance Breakfast Patriots Day, which I plan on attending. And also on the 20th at 6 o'clock at Cranes Roost, the city of Altamont Springs will be holding a community celebration about the World Series winners, the under 12-year-olds. That should be a lot of fun. I did want to, a couple of sad notes. Number one, a long-term judge, Alan Dickey, passed away this past week.
I did not
or
know that.
a couple of weeks, yes. And I think they're going to have a ceremony on the 20th. I'm not sure.
Can you
but I
let all
think
our
that's the
officers
day.
know if you find out?
Yeah.
Please.
Beatrice has all the
Okay,
information.
please.
And also, someone that I served with back in the 90s and 2000s, a true trailblazer, especially in Orlando and Orange County and the African-American community, Mabel Butler, who was, like I said, I was very honored to consider her a friend. And she passed away at 98 years old. So it was sad to see that, but also a life well lived. And that is all I have, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Commissioner Lockhart, District 4.
The last Links board meeting was to review budget items, and during that discussion, I had some specific questions that I asked for follow-up, reviewed the responses that I received with our staff today at the lunch break, and have some additional follow-up questions. My question, so that you are aware, is related to the timing and cadence of budgeting for vehicles versus when they are actually ordered. There seems to be some rollover that makes it difficult to determine from which budget year the carry forward, if it's a carry forward, occurs, into which vehicles are being purchased. And so this is not just a problem from retrospectively, but prospectively. If there are funds from prior years that are going to purchase future vehicles and our commitment is changing during this time, we want to make sure that we are paying for the vehicles that are in use for the right time frame. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so we're trying to ferret that out, and there will be some follow-up questions, and as soon as I have what I think we need to be able to determine that, I will be sure and share it with all of you, or have staff get with you on that. The county is a sponsor again of the Emerald Awards. This is the second annual Emerald Awards, Salute to Black Excellence in Seminole County. It's going to be held November 1st at 7 o'clock at the rink at Northland Church. This year's awards, the number of categories of awards that are being given has expanded incredibly. The number of people that are involved, Commissioner Zembauer, thank you so much. I know you are involved in helping to select some nominees and do some awards, and so it's a wonderful opportunity for our Seminole County community to come together and celebrate what is happening here, as opposed to just in the Central Florida region and getting lumped into some other neighbors to the south. And I'm assuming, Commissioner Zembauer, you're going to talk about the budget public hearing tomorrow night?
I am.
Okay, great. Then let me tell you, today, September 9th, is the day that Congress renamed our country to the United States. We were the United Colonies, and they made an official decision on September 9th, 1776, to formally declare our country as the United States. Today is also National When Pigs Fly Day. Do with that what you will.
That's fantastic. I love that. We could have lined that up with a lot of things.
We could have. And I looked at it earlier, and I was going to interject, and I was like, no, that might not be well received.
All righty. Well, of course, 24 years ago on September 11th, 2001, 4 airplanes crashed, 2 into the World Trade Center in New York and 1 in the Pentagon in Virginia, and the 4th into a field in Pennsylvania. The attacks killed nearly 3,000 people, injured over 6,000. So again, as I started the meeting, let's keep those families in our memories and our hearts as we move forward, and not forget September 11th. This past weekend, I attended 150th anniversary for the First Baptist Church of Chuleota. It is surprisingly one of the oldest churches, not the oldest in Seminole County, but one of the oldest. Started in a home of one of the agricultural folks and founding families of that part of Seminole County. Very interesting that they've put together a lot of history and a lot of pictures that were preserved. Pretty good stuff. Of course, I attended the spring hammock ribbon cutting and the new mud walk improvements and the boardwalks, and I got to tell you, if you haven't had a chance to get out there, what a change. I remember my children, and my children are, well, one of them is close to 40 now, but going in 5th grade to the mud walk back then. And the mud walk itself hasn't changed, but the amenities have. Being able to get in and out. It's truly a gem, not only for Seminole County, but quite frankly, the state of Florida and the region as a whole. With ancient trees, I mean, if you go out there and you see the size of some of these trees out there, and you just ponder for a moment how long those trees have been there and what those trees could talk, what they could tell us, what's happened, in and around, going all the way back to the native folks. Attended Leadership Seminole Government Day, was well attended and gesundheit. Good program for our Leadership Seminole folks. Many of the constitutional officers were there and spoke, and I know that some of you all stopped by. I know Commissioner Herr was there for a time as well. And I appreciate our staff accommodating them in the chambers here and putting on a good program. Seminole County Chamber Legislative Luncheon, of course, we all attended that yesterday. It was good to see everybody there. I want to remind the public tomorrow night, budget hearing is at 5:30 p.m. here in the chambers. If you desire to speak on the budget or come to find out more information, tomorrow evening at 5:30 would be the appropriate time. Also, the City of Oviedo is having a Patriot Day celebration, Oviedo on the Park, on September 11th. If you want to swing by there anytime during the day, Oviedo Memorial Post 243 is helping put that together. We appreciate that. Also, there is a public meeting on the East County Basin Studies. That's September 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Foundry Church at 1491 East State Road 434, Winter Springs. And that's all I have for my district report. I will now move to our public comment on non-agenda items. Ms. Dominique, do we have any speaker forms for non-agenda items?
Yes, sir. We have two, John Stewart and Bill Hyde.
Okay, we'll start with Mr. Stewart and then Mr. Hyde. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak on non-agenda items. When you come up, give us your full name and address for the record. Give us just a quick overview what you want to speak about, and then we'll have your 3 minutes move on. Mr. Stewart.
Sure. John Stewart, 693 Wycliffe Place, Winter Springs, Florida. And I want to talk about the crosswalks and also these, I guess you could say factories that are going to be built on the St. John's. Maybe I'm wrong here, but that's, I was here on an unrelated matter on the 26th, and just some of the things that stuck out were, we spent, I don't know how much money, I don't think anybody knows, it's been speculated that it was millions, I don't know, that was the press, on painting these crosswalks green, okay? And they violated the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which has called for white lines since 1935, and has advised against painted crosswalks since 2011, and now is codified into law. Why? Uniformity, painted surfaces are slippery, loss of traction for turning vehicles. So, I mean, if I can get this information, I don't know why the experts couldn't have it. So, they've been repainted. Sounds like there was some volunteers that did that, and that's good. But certainly there was a waste of taxpayer money. The next thing I heard, and I'm a Navy veteran and a boater, and I guess there's 2.7. Maybe I'm wrong here, so correct me. But $2.7 million to build two commercial buildings to be used for light manufacturing on St. John's River, $87,000 a year for utilities and so forth. So that's about that's over an 8-year payback period. I don't know if it's taxpayer, if they have their own budget, but we just got rid of those smokestacks on Lake Monroe.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Let's let him finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. And that big oil barge that used to traverse that narrow part of the river, and I just hope we're not building factories along the St. John's River, especially it's right next to, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, but there's boats for pleasure boats, and marina right next door. They already have 2 restaurants. I guess you're going to build another restaurant, but I just would hate to see any more manufacturing plants on the St. John's. I mean, this isn't Jacksonville, right? So that's really all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah, let me just try to clarify a couple things.
So, no.
So I don't know where you come up with factories being built into St. John's. This county's
Last
not.
meeting.
This county's not building any factories. I don't know in the last meeting, anybody talked about building a factory on the St. John's
Light
River.
manufacturing?
We also don't have marinas with restaurants.
Yeah, so I don't know where all that comes from. The only thing remotely is maybe up around Jacksonville or Palatka area or something like that, but I'm not familiar with their jurisdiction. But there's no plans at all to build anything on the St. Johns River in this county.
And Port Authority, he's not going to build?
Port
this too?
Authority is the Port Authority. That's not manufacturing. That's, you can go up there and you can have a restaurant visit to the restaurant that exists, or you can buy a boat at the boat dealer, or you can do business with some of the tenants that are there.
Okay.
But there is no light manufacturing, none of that. So I'm not sure where that comes from. As far as the sidewalk or the crosswalks, so in 2013, green was an accepted practice. In 2020, it was recertified as a accepted practice for the crosswalks. And the crosswalks in this county were all permitted by the Florida Department of Transportation as being sustainable. We've asked our county manager to bring back to us the cost that the county has borne. There was no volunteers that did that. They were county employees. We were mandated by the 2024 newest manual revising and detailing exactly what those crosswalks were to be. And we adhered to that, and we adhered to the direction of the Florida Department of Transportation, which quite frankly participated in this latest round of bringing those up to speed. So I think hopefully that covers what it seems to be your concerns.
Okay, so no factories or manufacturing, light manufacturing over on the marina that were by the bridge at the west side of the...
Not in Seminole County's purview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. I'm assuming that's what you were trying to figure out.
I was going to do a different approach, but you got the same result. Okay.
Mr. Hyde, welcome.
Before I start, my buddy was one of the captains of one of those tug and barge operations that came up here, and I ran tug and barge down in Miami. My name is Bill Hyde, and I'm at 2379 Audley Street in Oviedo. I just came here to let you guys know that Oviedo Post 243 is mourning the loss of Peter Gregory. I know Bob knows Peter.
I'm sorry.
Pretty well. Peter Gregory was an incredible asset to not just the veterans community, but Seminole County. Peter was past commander of Post 243. He was past something else every time. He was also a district commander. Peter served on our Congressional Veterans Advisory Committee. Just an incredible guy. I personally credit him with a good part of the resurgence about 10, 15 years ago of Post 243. We were a lonely place out in nowhere, and Peter was a commander that took charge of that. So just want to pass our appreciation on to the commission for all the support, but let you know that we have lost a real Navy hero in Peter Gregory.
Bill, is there a time and date for service?
I didn't get it yet. I just got the email. I got the email late.
Can you let our officers know
He was in
about it, please?
hospice, and just like I said, I just got the email myself. I haven't been to the post this week.
Okay. Let us know, Bill.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there anyone else for public comment and non-agenda items?
No, sir.
Anything else for the good of the order from the commission? For management?
No, sir.
Seeing none, we shall close the meeting. Thank you all for being here.